Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are returning, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you have come back to watch more. If you are new here, thank you so much for coming. It really makes me happy that you have found me, and I hope you enjoyed my video. This is a books and looks video. I'm Jen, and what I like to do here is combine two of my favorite things. I like to read and I like to play with makeup. So I combine them and I do a get ready with me video while talking about a book I have recently read. So that's how it works. If you are a repeat viewer, again, thank you very much. You may notice my voice is a little wonky. I have been sick for about 2 weeks, and where's my oh, there it is. I have been sick for about 2 weeks. I lost my voice for a week, and I'm now finally feeling better. And so I'm back. I'm back making videos. So I apologize if my voice comes in and out. I don't know. It sounds kind of cool. Like I feel like I don't know. Like maybe I'm a really cool rock star singer or something. Yeah, I don't sing, but that's where I've been. I've actually tried to make this video. This is my third attempt. The first time, I'm an idiot, and I didn't hit the record properly, so it didn't actually record. So I sat here talking to myself for a half an hour for nothing. So I was really excited about that. And then I actually tried to make this just yesterday, and the video file was corrupt. And the only reason I can think of that happening was I got a notification that I was almost out of space on which is weird because I have a fair sized computer, but whatever. So I think maybe I ran out of space and so it wouldn't record. I don't know. But either way, I am back, and hopefully third time's the charm. And this is my cute little hairdo. I showered a little bit ago, just recently, and my hair's still wet. I didn't feel like doing it. So I had a thought. So I'm going to do my get ready with me books and looks video. And then maybe later today, I'll do another books and looks, but instead of it being a makeup look, I'll do it as a hair look, because with my Christmas money, I bought myself one of those Lange, I don't know how you say it, the L'Ange hair curler straightener tools. So I kind of want to give it a try. Well, I have given it a try, but maybe I'll make a video of that. Comment below if you want to see that. I'll probably make the video one way or another, and we'll see in the comments if you are interested or not. But I'm probably going to post it anyway, so hopefully you're interested. But anyway, let's do today's book. This is one of the books that I have recently read. This is Diane Chamberlain's The Secret Life of CeeCee Wilkes. And this actually was recommended to me by my sister, and she bought this book for me. And I literally got it last year for Christmas. P.S. It's Christmas week, which is even a bigger bummer that I'm sick. I was hoping to make like multiple videos because I have like 5 books that I have read recently. I literally read this at Thanksgiving, and I'm just now have the time and ability to make the video. So I was going to make all these videos this week. No, but now the break is almost over because I've been sick, and here we are. I'm just now talking about my first one, The Secret Life of CeeCee Wilkes. But let's get into it. Let me tell you all about it while I put my makeup on for the day. So this book is about, surprise, surprise, CeeCee Wilkes. So CeeCee is telling the majority of the story. Now, this whole story, there's no spoilers. So when I tell you everything that happens in this book, you as the reader know everything the whole time as well. So there will be no spoilers in this video. You will be happy to know. But it's about CeeCee Wilkes. And in the very beginning, it's like in the 70s-ish, late 70s. And she's a 16-year-old girl. She's orphaned. She's been emancipated. She's graduated from high school. She's living on her own, working as a waitress. And she meets this guy, Tim. Now, he's this college guy. He's like 20-some, like 22, I think, which is squicky in and of itself. But she falls in love with him, and it's quite toxic. And she basically like does whatever he says and is like, you know, completely young and naive and thinks like this is the love of her life. They're going to be together forever. They're going to get married. And as it turns out, he is part of like this underground anti-death penalty organization, and his sister is currently in jail on death row because, according to Tim, she was raped when she was younger. Like, she's been in jail for a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm very blowing my nose because, like I said, I've been sick for like 2 weeks. But anyway, so his sister allegedly raped somebody and then murdered him and was convicted and on death row for murder. And he's like, this isn't fair. She does not deserve to be in jail, let alone on death row. So he's part of this like underground organization that like slightly illegal, very illegal things in order to like get laws changed and stuff. So he and his brother, and then also a few other people in the organization, have come up with this plan to get his sister out of jail. They are going to kidnap the governor's wife, and the ransom to bring her home safely is for the governor to like sign off on paperwork that the sister's conviction is overturned, she's released from jail, and can go about her happy life. That's the plan, right? They're like, it's foolproof. Okay, something happened with the recording. I don't know what's going on. This is, I don't know. Maybe this book is cursed. I'm not actually supposed to talk about it. I don't know. Whatever. So anyway, that's the plan. So Tim and his brother and this organization have this whole plan worked out, but they need CeeCee to be involved as well. They need her to go to this cabin in the woods. It's like Tim's cousins, neighbors, uncles, girlfriends, like they have a connection. They have this random cabin in the woods. Remember, it's the 70s, so there's not like telephones or internet or anything. So this is a cabin in the middle of the woods, and what the plan is they're going to kidnap the wife and bring her there. And CeeCee's job is to basically babysit her and make sure that she doesn't escape, even though it's in the middle of the woods, is safe and well taken care of for the negotiate and get the stuff, right? Get the ransom. So they go off. She doesn't want to do it, but she's also like, oh, I love you, I'll do it, because even though I'm scared, because I trust you and I love you and we're gonna be together forever, blah blah blah. So she's at this cabin, and then Tim and his brother kidnap her and bring her to the cabin, and then CeeCee realizes that, hey y'all, you get a little preview of my finished look because a chunk of my video disappeared. I told you there's something weird happening with it, whatever. So they bring the wife to the cabin, and it turns out that she's pregnant. She's 8 months pregnant. And when she arrives, she's like, you can't let me here. I have a child. I have a 5-year-old. I'm pregnant. I'm a high-risk pregnancy. I need to be close to the doctors. I almost died last time I gave birth. Blah, 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 blah. So CeeCee's like, yeah. You're just saying this to try to get me to let you go. I can't. It's only going to be a few days. Just like, we'll be fine. Well, it was only a few days, but that's all it took probably because of the stress and the trauma of the situation. The lady goes into labor. So like, she's only 8 months pregnant, so she goes into labor early, and she gives birth. CeeCee helps her as the best as she can, but she's like 16 and like doesn't know what to do, and she's like, there's no phone. There's only one car there. She's not even 100% sure where she is. Like, she doesn't know what to do. So she does the best she can. She helps the lady give birth, but she hemorrhages real bad again, which is what happened in her first birth. But because she's in the middle of a cabin with no doctors or anything, she dies. And CeeCee's like, I don't know what to do. Like, she died. CeeCee did try. She didn't know what to do, but she did what she could think of. Like, she tried everything she could. She like towels and held her hand and like cleaned the baby and everything. The baby's fine, but the mom died because she bled out. She hemorrhaged. And so CeeCee's just like with this baby and has no idea what to do. Okay, back to the original show. Seriously, I don't know. This is rough. For some reason, the universe doesn't want me to talk about this book, but whatever. So she dies. And CeeCee doesn't know what to do. So she does have a car, but she doesn't know how to drive it because it's a stick shift, but that's just a little detail. So she takes the baby and goes to the only place she knows to go is like this nearby-ish home of these people who are part of this organization and have kind of helped them through the process. So she shows up with a baby and they're like, what are you doing? And she tells them everything that happens. And the guy goes off and basically disposes of the body. He gets the mom's body, or the governor's wife's body, and buries it in a random place in the woods. And then the woman helps her take care of the baby and do whatever they can, and they get fake IDs for both CeeCee and the baby. And they're like, she's your baby now, like this is on you. So her name gets changed to Eve, and the baby gets named Corinne when she calls her Corey. And at first she's like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with this. Like, I'm 16, I can't have a baby. And they're like, we know somebody who will help you. Go to this address. She's part of our organization, and she takes care of unwed mothers, and she has like, a home that you can stay in. Like, she'll help you get on your feet, etc., etc. So CeeCee, now known as Eve, goes there, but on the way she goes to the governor's house with the intent of leaving the baby on the doorstep. But there's like cops everywhere because his wife was kidnapped. So obviously there's going to be cops everywhere. So she wants to do the right thing and give the baby back with a note saying, she died, I'm sorry. But she can't because she doesn't want to, get involved in the cops. So she ends up taking the baby and she's like, oh, I'll go back tomorrow. Still cops. I'll go back. Days go by, weeks go by. And the next thing you know, it's been like years. She's raising this baby. She's still living with this older lady. She has a job. She gets fake transcripts so that she can go back to school. Fast forward a few years, she meets somebody. They get married. She has a degree in counseling and works as a counselor at like the local university. And like things are going well. Her and her husband have a baby. And like everybody just assumes that Corinne is her baby, even though it looks nothing like her. It looks exactly like the governor's wife. Like, they both had red hair, they're both pale skin, but everybody's like, oh, was the father of the baby like, whatever, he was an Irishman? And she's like, yeah, that's what happened. So also side note, CeeCee randomly gets an envelope full of cash mailed to her out of the blue. She has no idea who it comes from or anything, and it just says for the baby. And that ends up coming important in the end. So she's moving on, living her life, and you jump forward to like present day. She's been married for like years. Both of her daughters are adults now, and like nobody knows the truth of who she is, who Corey is, nothing. Like, she's been carrying the secret all these years. And because of that, like her paranoia and everything, she actually has created some like anxieties and issues with poor Corey, because she was always like looking over her shoulder and like being careful and being like, don't go too far away from me. So Corey, at this point in the story, we're like 3/4 of the way through the story. Corey's like, what's the word when you like don't talk to your parents? Estranged. They're estranged. Corey and CeeCee like haven't really spoken in years. But Corey is still very close to her stepfather and her stepsister. Stepfather and stepsister is what she believes. It's what everybody believes. But now, suddenly, they find out on the news that this old crime of a missing person, presumed to be dead, the governor's wife and unborn child, they know Tim was involved all these years, but Tim has also been in hiding with a fake ID. Well, now it suddenly comes out in the news that they have found Tim. They have found Governor blah blah blah's wife's kidnapper and murderer. So he gets arrested and he's put on trial, and CeeCee's like obsessed with it, watching like every minute of the trial and following it real closely, because she's like, oh my gosh, this is him. This is Tim, like the guy that she thought she was going to marry and that like ruined her life but got her baby, blah 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 blah. And Tim gets convicted of kidnapping and murder of the governor's wife. But CeeCee knows he did not murder her. Yes, he kidnapped her and he's guilty of that, but he didn't murder her. So he gets convicted and sentenced to death. So it's like the death penalty, right? Which is ironic because that was like what started it all, a false conviction and a death penalty. Well, CeeCee starts like really looking into it, and Oh, by the way, in the meantime, she has found out that Tim had, like, through the trial, all this stuff comes out. Tim had another girlfriend the whole time who didn't want to do the job. And so he was like faking his relationship with her the whole time, manipulating her, trying to get her to do what he wanted her to do. So like she was pissed about that. And then you also find out that the sister wasn't raped and murdered her rapist. She was a drug addict and broke into somebody's house and murdered a woman and her daughter. So Tim straight up lied about that to get her more invested and to like have sympathy for what happened to the sister. By the way, I am doing pinks and purples because I have this super soft, oh my gosh, like it's so soft. I've had it for a fair amount of time. I think I bought it real cheap in the summer. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. But I've just recently started wearing it and it is so soft and so warm. So I decided to go with like a pinky purpley vibe today to match my really warm, comfy sweater. I hope you enjoy what I put together today. Anyway, I digress. So she finds out that like Tim lied to her. Tim wasn't actually like committed to her. He was using her. So she's like really upset, obviously, because like all of this happened, like, her whole life changed. She has to live in this fake identity with these lies forever, and all this stuff and live in fear, whatever, all because he completely lied to her and used her, right? So now she's in this situation. She's like, he's about to be convicted and executed for a crime he didn't commit. Do I say something even though, this is all his fault? He did this, essentially, he did this to himself, right? Well, of course, she decides I'm going to do the right thing. And she has a friend who's like a local talk show host person, like morning show host person, who she calls up and she's like, I have an exclusive about the Tim Gleason case, but I'm only going to tell you and only on your show. So she goes on the show and literally everyone finds out. Corey, her husband, her other daughter, the older lady who like took care of her for years, the whole world all finds out at the same time when she comes out on this show and says, my name is CeeCee Wilkes. In 1977, I was in a relationship with Tim Gleason, and this is what happened. He did not kill this woman. I saw her die of childbirth. It was a medical emergency, and I didn't know what to do. And I can prove it because I have her child. Corey is actually that missing child. Because he was also convicted of murdering both the wife and the baby. And so CeeCee's like, I have to put this out there. I can't let it go. So she tells everybody. And then, of course, the whole world is like, what? Oh, my gosh. And Tim's conviction is overturned. And, like, his conviction of, like, kidnapping and stuff stays. So he goes to jail. But now she gets arrested. CeeCee gets arrested for, the involvement in the kidnapping and identity fraud and all of that. And she goes to prison for a short time. But in the meantime, like while this trial is all going on, Corey goes and meets her father and her sister, and is like, because she had an older sister, and they're like, oh my gosh, we never would have dreamed that this, you would be here and you would be okay. And they throw money at her because he's a governor, so he's like super rich. And they like buy stuff for her. They're like, we're going to give you a monthly allowance. We're going to pay for you to go back to school, whatever you want. And she's a teacher. She's like doing okay. She's relatively happy. But her world is just blown apart, right? The person she knows as her mom is a kidnapper. She was a kidnap victim. Her mother died. Like, it's all a lot. So she's really overwhelmed. And then she hears the governor and the sister saying, like, that woman needs to die. She's a horrible human being. Like, I can't believe she destroyed our family. I hope she rots in jail. And Corey's like, okay, she did a lot of bad things, but like, she's still my mother and I still love her. And she took care of me. And then like all these things start making sense. She's like, oh my gosh, that's why she was so strict with me. That's why she was so protective of me, because she was so scared all the time. And so she eventually comes around and she's like understands and forgives her mother for it, and ends up actually going to trial as a character witness for her mom, and like writes letters to like the governor and all these other people saying, you know, this is the situation. My mother has never committed a crime other than this when she was 16 and vulnerable and taken advantage of. And it works because the jury ends up being very light with their sentence. She only ends up doing like a couple of years in jail. She only gets convicted with a couple of years in jail. And so she does her time, and then it does like, you know, a couple years later. And and by the way, Corey had this boyfriend who was a total D-bag and was like, he was a journalist too. And then he was all pissed. He's like, how did I not know this? Why didn't your mother come to me to come out with this news? And Corey's like, do you understand what I'm going through? And you're upset that my mom didn't talk to you first. So, and then, excuse me. And Corey finds out that she's pregnant through all of this. And the guy's like, I don't want to have a baby. So like, you just need to abort it because I don't want to be a father. Corey's like, I want this baby. I'm not going to abort it. And he's like, come on, like, don't do this to me. You're going to ruin my career. Like, he's just a total douchebag the whole time. I don't know why she was ever with him, but whatever. So she ends up dumping him. Like, during the trial, she, like, dumps him. She's like, I'm going to keep this baby. She reconciles with her mom. So then mom gets convicted of a few years in prison, and then it's, like, X years later. And this is, like, the little epilogue. And she had a little baby, I think it was a little girl. And CeeCee's out of jail. I don't think Corey maintains a relationship with the governor or her sister. I think she's just like, no thanks, I'm not interested. Maybe like a little bit. I think the governor was just like, well, if you want anything, let me know. You're still my daughter. And they did a DNA test to prove that it was in fact her. Like, because at first the governor's like, I don't know, you could just be like a fraud or whatever. So they did prove that it was hers. So, and that ends up being important because in the epilogue, CeeCee visits Tim in jail and is like, hey, I have some questions for you. And Tim's like, I have some questions for you too. He's like, why would you do that? Like, I 100% would have taken the rap for that. Like, I wasn't going to bring you in at all. I should have never done that to you back then. I was so young and so stupid and so selfish. And she's like, yeah, I realize now that like it was all a lie and I was manipulated, and he apologizes and they kind of reconcile over that. But then she's like, were you the one sending me money through the years? And he was like, yeah, that was me. And she's like, did you think Corey was yours? Because she also finds out through the years that Tim was like a total player and had an affair with the governor's wife. Oh, that was like the biggest twist. That was the only twist that I didn't know about. But he was like, yeah, I wasn't sure. We had this affair. She got pregnant. And back then they were just like, she just had the baby. She's like, I'm not going to even acknowledge that it could be yours. It is the governor's child. And so, because she's like, you knew she was pregnant. Why did you do it anyway? He's like, I never, ever thought any of this was ever going to happen. I 100% believed that this was all going to come together and that the governor would pay the ransom. But the governor absolutely refused to pay the ransom, and here we are. So he thought Corey was hers, or could have been hers, all these years, and was sending money to Eve because like he was connected with the organization. He knew where she was and like who her false identity was and whatnot. Well, as it turns out, he wasn't the father, and that came to light whenever everything came out and she had the DNA test to confirm who she was. But then also, like, Tim says, like, why did you do that? And she's like, I couldn't do that to you. Like, it wasn't true. You didn't kill her or the baby. I couldn't let you go to jail for that. And he's like, wow, you are such a good person. I'm a horrible person. And they basically reconcile. And he's like, I deserve to be in jail. I should have been in jail a long time ago. I made a lot of stupid mistakes, etc. So that was basically how the story ended. It was like all tied up in a nice bow. Tim is in jail. He realizes the error of his ways and like accepted his punishment of being in jail. Even CeeCee did a little bit of jail time for her crime of, kidnapping and whatnot. but it all ended okay. Like CeeCee, now Eve, is going on living her life. She and Corey are a family. Oh, and then her husband and daughter, like legitimate daughter, I can never remember her name. It was a really unique name. Like, whatever. So they had some rough times too. Like when everything came out of the woodwork, the husband was like almost divorcing her and was like, is our whole life a lie? Like, is this daughter even really ours? Like, I don't know who you are at all. This isn't even your real name. And she's like, listen, they reconcile because she's like, listen, yes, this is not my real name, but everything about me, you know me. Everything from the time that, you know, I got my new name forward has been honest and true. The stuff about Corey and my history was made up to protect myself. And I know it was wrong and I'm in jail for it now. But like I had to do what I had to do. I had to protect myself. I had to protect Corey. And so the husband was like, okay, like this sucks. And it takes a few months, but they eventually do reconcile and they live happily ever after because he like understands. He recognizes like, okay, yeah, legit. What else were you gonna do, right? I mean, what else are you gonna do? I guess I'll use this pink. Yesterday I put on some new blush and it did not like I like it, but I put on way too much and look like a crazy person. So that was fun. But anyway, I'm a little all over the place today, aren't I? Meh, it's fine. So that was how the story ends. I really liked it. It was a good story, but like I said, the whole time you knew everything. The only thing you didn't really know was where the random envelopes of cash were coming from. And then that, you know, he had the affair and that he was sending money because it might have been his daughter. But it was just interesting. I liked it. But okay. I would only give it like a 6.5 out of 10. And this is why. It was beautifully written. The characters were so complex and dynamic and real. And like, as the reader, I genuinely felt bad and like could understand like, yeah, I would probably make the same decision if I was in that situation. It's awful and terrifying and illegal, but like I would probably do the same thing. Like if that happened and I'm like, I was 16, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd probably just run away as well and take the help from the grown-ups telling me like, here's a new identity, go to this place, you'll be safe. I'd probably do the same thing. And the way it was written really made you not think like, oh my gosh, what a freaking crazy situation. Like I would never do that. This is so unrealistic. It actually comes across as very realistic and very much like that could have happened, which is kind of cool because it's a complicated situation, right? But here's why I don't give it more stars. Yes, it was well written. Yes, the characters are there. Yes, I enjoyed reading it. However, because I knew everything the whole time and there was only one tiny twist in the whole thing, I like when there's a surprise, a twist, something that's like you didn't see it coming and it adds a whole new layer to the story. The biggest twist was that Tim thought he might have been the father because he slept with the governor's wife a couple of times. Okay, like that element didn't need to be in it at all, and the story would have basically been the same. It was an interesting little thing, but still just not that exciting. I think if the story... Oh, I don't have any lipstick. Poo. Give me a minute. I'm going to go get some lipstick. Okay, I'm back. So, where was I? Oh, yes. What I think would have made the story a little bit better. A little bit of mystery. So, in my opinion, I think I would have given it a 10 out of 10 if in the beginning you had, just like in the beginning of this one, it had the kidnapping, the whole story, the dying, the CeeCee getting the false identification papers and running away with the baby. And then maybe stopping when she tries to give the baby back at the governor's house, but can't because all the cops are there. And then like kind of ending it at that. So you're not sure. Did she give it away? Did she not? We don't know. And then switching to today with Eve and her family and like her living with this, this single mom living with somebody. I mean, we probably would have figured it out, but then like give me the chance to figure it out. Give me the chance to like see it. Or maybe even change new idea. So starts with the kidnapping story, which probably was like a solid third of the book. Then jump to present day with grown-up Evie, Corey finding out she's pregnant with her D-bag of a boyfriend, estranged from her mother, da-da-da-da-da. And then the trial starts. And through the course of the trial of Tim Gleason, facts start emerging. Like he starts saying stuff, and with Evie being like obsessed with the trial and the husband being like, why are you so obsessed with this trial? Like, it was from like however many years ago and like 2 states over or whatever. I think that would have been really neat. And then like maybe at the 3/4 of the way through or whatever, Eve stepping out and saying, I'm CeeCee Wilkes, Tim Gleason didn't kill the wife or the baby, and I have evidence. And then like through that part of the trial, all the rest of the details coming out, like how she, was in this situation. Maybe even like through flashbacks, like when she's on the stand and she's telling her story, then it would be like a flashback. I feel like, I don't know, it's not great. Well, I mean, I have been blowing my nose a lot, so that's probably just dry skin. I don't know if I can do anything about that. Let me put a little bit of this on. But yeah, so I think that like a little bit of a mystery where like you didn't necessarily know. I mean, again, as a reader, you may very well have figured it out, and that's fine. You can be amazing and figure it out. But I think it would have been a whole new layer of interest and intrigue and surprise if you have the kidnapping story and then you jump ahead to present day with Tim Gleason's trial. Like they found Tim Gleason and he's been convicted of the murder and da-da-da-da-da. And then this Evie person being like, I need to say something about it, and jumping out and saying like, it was me, blah, 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 blah. I think that would have been really cool. And it would have been a much more interesting twist. And also, as the reader, given me an opportunity to like figure it out for myself and put the pieces together. And I don't know, I just think that would have been much more interesting. However, I love a good mystery, and not everybody does. Some people just like an easy, nothing, no surprises, just emotionally driven, strong character plots. And that's fine too, right? All right, I don't know. Does that look a little bit better? Not really. Well, it looks better in real life. I feel like it doesn't look that amazing in camera, but whatevs. Maybe I should put on some of the little bit. See, look at that. Look at that color. It's a little scary, but it's fine. I need to stop getting all over the place. I am all over the place. I'm not. Oh, I did it again. It's fine. I'll just look like a crazy person 2 days in a row. It's cool. It's cool. Looks a little bit better. Whatever. Hey, so that's the end of the story. That's my way more than 2 cents. That was like 25 cents about it. Have you read this book? Add some comments below if you read the book. What did you think? Like, if my sister, hi Janice, if you watch this, tell me what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? I think you might want to read it. Like I said, the whole time you know everything. So it's not like knowing the story. Other than the little secret about, he thought he might have been the baby daddy. It was very straightforward. So comment down below if you think you might want to read it, or if you have other books, please. I love good book recommendations. So please give me some book recommendations. And also, do you like this look? My like pinky purpley? I didn't put any brown on my eyelids today. I will have you know. None. It's all pinks and purples and taupes. So I did something different today. And I don't know, maybe I'll catch you later today doing a hair video. I don't know. I have a lot to do today. I have house guests coming and I have to like literally clean my whole house. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to look cute doing it, aren't I? Comment below if you think I did a good job on my makeup. If you like this look, if you like these colors, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please post them below. I love to hear from my viewers, and I hope to see you again in future videos. Check out some of my older videos. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all those things. I love the support in any way that you are willing to give it. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful everything. It is Christmas week, so I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a wonderful year. Everything. And as always, stay beautiful inside and out. Bye.